Why the Boston Red Sox must keep Alex Bregman around next season and beyond.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I'm here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part, it's all completely free. So make sure you tune in because Locked On is here for you every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Happy Friday. Welcome to the show. Big series this weekend for the Red Sox as they host the Yankees at Fenway Park. And this series is arguably the most important series of the season up to this point. Gonna be discussing that a little bit later on in today's show, as well as how the Red Sox should round out their starting rotation for the rest of this season. But first of all, as the Red Sox go through this season and we think about everything that they've accomplished and where they're at, there have obviously been a lot of players who have contributed to this run that they have been on and their likelihood of landing a postseason spot. But one of the biggest players to thank in all of this is Alex Bregman. The Boston Red Sox must keep Alex Bregman next season and beyond. Why? Because the importance of Alex Bregman to this team goes well beyond the baseball field. The way that he is from a leadership standpoint around his teammates off the field is also just as important. And this team, we don't know where they would be without Alex Bregman. It's a lot of young players on this Red Sox team right now that need mentorship. And Alex Bregman has done a really good job of providing that mentorship to this Red Sox team. And actually, recently, it was 1 a.m. and Carlos Narvaez got a call from Alex Bregman. It was back in June in New York, the Red Sox playing the Yankees, and they just hadn't found their rhythm. And they were at risk of becoming a non-factor in baseball that early on in the season. And at the time, Alex Bregman was sidelined with that quadriceps injury that kept him out for a couple months. And he was part of what the Red Sox struggles were at the time because of the fact that he was absent. So he really wanted to help his team figure things out and get back on track. So he called Carlos Narvaez and talked to Connor Wong, the catchers, and had a chat with them about the pitching. And Narvaez was basically saying that Alex Bregman said, "Are you awake? Yeah, come to my room." They ended up talking till 2 or 3 a.m. about the pitchers and how can we as a team get better. And the wild part about the whole thing was that Narvaez wasn't even surprised by the fact that it was a late night request because according to his teammates, Alex Bregman has a habit of reaching out to people at all hours with some idea or tidbit geared toward making the team better. Whereas almost all hitters are content to remain in their own realm and focus on how they individually can improve, Bregman finds time to and also actually takes pride in pitching in with the pitchers and finding ways that they can improve their game. He actually studies opposing teams' lineups to offer game planning tips, and he converses one-on-one with each of the pitchers on the team about their repertoire and talks to them about a hitter's perspective to maximize it and be able to ultimately put the pitchers in the best mindset. And he serves as essentially a ringleader who encourages hitter and pitcher cross communication that around the sport is really typically not common. So that's something that sets Alex Bregman apart from other players across Major League Baseball, is that he wants to develop more of that relationship between the hitters on the team and the pitchers on the team. How can everybody come together to make the Boston Red Sox a better team rather than focusing on just his individual performance? And this is all part of the Red Sox thoroughly enjoying his first season in a Boston Red Sox uniform, and potentially only, although the Red Sox just cannot make that happen. When you have a guy who takes that much pride in helping his team, you want to keep a guy like that around. Connor Wong said it's actually one of his superpowers when he goes out there and helps his team. And Alex Cora said he knows everything about his teammates. There's not too many of those. I'm just happy that we're getting a taste and that he's here with us. The pitchers and also pitching coach Andrew Bailey actually welcomed Bregman's insight too. Lucas Giolito actually said, I've never had that before. It's really cool. It's extremely helpful. It's another layer of what he brings as a leader. He helps not just on the field, but helping the pitchers is great. And this is coming from Lucas Giolito, a veteran of 9 seasons with 5 different teams. So he's been around the block, and never has he had a teammate who's been like that. And Garrett Crochet said, if I'm ever curious about a guy, I can go to him. It's just nice having ball talk in the clubhouse with the opposite position group. And Greg Weiser said it's valuable stuff. And Weiser is a prime example of somebody who can speak to this personally too, because one day during spring training, he said that he and Bregman were chatting in the training room. Bregman was the newly signed all-star third baseman, and Weiser was a reliever who was striving for his first full major league season. And conversation ultimately ended up turning to Weisert's fastballs, the sinker that long had been his go-to, and a four-seamer that he didn't love. So Bregman said about that lefties normally hit right-handed sinkers really well. So just talked with him about some usage stuff. He's got 2 elite fastballs. I feel like him using the right one to the right guys is important. So again, him helping out a pitcher, understanding technique, understanding mechanics, and understanding pitch selection to fool the hitters even more. And after those two parted ways, Bregman actually looked it up and came back to physically show Weiser hitters don't do damage against his four-seamer. They slugged just .313 against it last year. So he suggested that he should maybe throw it more. And since then, Weiser has thrown it more, with the frequency up from about 1 out of every 5 pitches to 1 out of 3, making it more common than even his sinker is. And the separation is even more drastic against left-handed hitters, as Bregman advised him to do, and it has helped him to find more success as a pitcher this year. Weisert said he gave me a little more confidence in it. He's a smart guy. He understands the game a lot. And that is incredibly valuable. You want to have a guy out there who contributes both on the field and off the field. And when the Red Sox brought Alex Bregman in, that was the biggest reason why I was so excited about his presence in a Boston Red Sox uniform, because I knew that having Alex Bregman here would work tremendously for some of the younger players on this team. He knows what it's like to win. He knows how to win. He knows how to perform under the most pressure-filled situations, and he provides a lot of mentorship and guidance to guys who are newer in their major league careers and are finding their stride with this Boston Red Sox team. That night in New York with the catchers too, Lucas Giolito was also among the topics of conversation, because he had endured a really struggling start to the season with Andrew Bailey and the rest of the pitching organization. He was digging into biomechanical changes to his delivery that ended up paying dividends. And around that same time, he did receive input from Bregman, who suggested locating his fastball to the top rail of the strike zone. That would make his changeup and slider more effective low, in, and below the zone. So he was essentially working on placement with Giolito. And Bregman described it as taking a step back and looking at it from how I remember facing him when he's been at his best. So again, Alex Bregman applying past experiences personally to be able to help these guys out and say, this is what you did when you were at your best, and this is what I struggled with when I was going up against you. Giolito said we had a full-on conversation about my pitch usage and locations. He's faced me a number of times throughout our careers. And yeah, he just gave me some good advice as far as how to use the fastball and how it will set things up and locations and things like that. And also Justin Slayton has gotten lessons from Alex Bregman. The lesson for him was if a hitter has a major weakness, don't be afraid to exploit it relentlessly. Slayton said super simple stuff like that, which a lot of times we don't think about. Even if your strength isn't, an example for me, throwing cutters a ton to righties, but this guy never hits cutters, you can throw 10 cutters in a row and this guy wouldn't hit it. Just keep throwing it. If he's batting 150 against it, you don't have to set it up. It doesn't matter if you throw it 10 times in a row because he's just not going to be able to hit it in general. So the depth of Bregman's pitcher observations is a relatively recent addition to his portfolio, but one that he has been able to be really effective with. And a lot of guys have gotten so much learning from him this season. And as this Red Sox team continues to grow and develop and get themselves constantly back in the playoff hunt, they are going to need a guy like Alex leading the way. And Alex Bregman has an opportunity to opt out of his deal with the Red Sox after this season, and there's no guarantees that he's going to return, but the Red Sox have to do everything in their power to bring him back. They need to offer him a lot of money if that's what he's looking for. I thought their 3-year deal was great. They were offering him a lot of money, but not committing to an insane number of years on the contract, which also doesn't necessarily make sense with his age and where he's at in his career. But if he decides he wants to explore free agency and not opt into the other 2 years of this deal that he's getting now from the Red Sox, they need to be first in line to offer him a lot of money so that he can stay a part of this Red Sox team and they can ensure that they keep him here. It's of really high importance and mandatory that they do what they can to keep him because his leadership goes unmatched. And there's nobody else I would want to have leading the charge when it comes to an on-field and off-field leadership standpoint because he's experienced. He actually cares about the future of this Boston Red Sox team and cares about more than himself. And he's a great defender to have at third base. So you don't want to lose that defensive productivity either. So the Red Sox must do everything they can to maintain Alex Bregman. And coming up, what is the rest of the starting rotation going to look like for the remainder of the season? That's going to be discussed. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. I love that Nutrafol is simple to add to your day. 4 pills with a meal, no prescription needed. Easy. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. It's a great product to use. I 100% recommend it because we always feel gross when our hair feels gross. So Nutrafol will solve all of those problems for you and make sure that you no longer have problems with gross or greasy hair. The Red Sox are at a crucial part of their season right now. These next few weeks of the regular season are of high importance with how close the wild card standings are right now. And the Red Sox have a big opportunity to secure the first wild card spot. Obviously not ruling them out of their division as of right now, but could be kind of tough to catch the Blue Jays with how well they have been playing. But at a minimum, the Red Sox are right there to be able to clinch the first wild card spot, which would be huge because then they would be able to get home field advantage for the wild card series. So lots of games of high importance now, including a big upcoming series against the Yankees that I'm going to be discussing a little bit later. But what is the Red Sox starting rotation going to look like come these next few weeks? Because everything is uncertain outside of their top 3 in Garrett Crochet, Brian Bayo, and Lucas Giolito. That is no doubt the 1, 2, 3 that the Red Sox are going to roll out there. Those are guys the Red Sox always pictured being part of the rotation this season. with obviously Tanner Houck and Walker Buehler rounding out the rotation at the number 4 and 5 spots. Unfortunately, Tanner Houck is now out for the season and likely all of next season, and they had to release Walker Buehler because he just was not performing to the level in which the Red Sox needed him to perform at. So it's kind of left a lot of question marks when it comes to the rest of the rotation. Hunter Dobbins was throwing well out of the rotation, but then he got hurt and is not going to be able to return for the rest of the season. They acquired Dustin May at the trade deadline in hopes that he would pitch well out of the starting rotation, but he had his struggles and then threw once out of the bullpen and also struggled then. So now he's been placed on the injured list too. So that's another starting pitcher that the Red Sox can no longer rely on for this season. They've also turned to Richard Fitz, who they thought they could trust in the rotation. He also was struggling a bit and is now hurt. So lots of guys that have kind of come and gone that the Red Sox have experimented with in the starting rotation. Cooper Criswell had come up to make a couple spot starts, particularly a really dominant start against the Astros. He was involved in all of this, but now he's hurt too. So every time the Red Sox have had a go-to, it seems like those pitchers have gotten hurt. So they've been trying to kind of piece players together and make ends meet when it comes to that number 4 and number 5 starter right now. Rookies have gotten their opportunities to get called up. Peyton Tolley and Connolly Early, both of which had impressed at the minor league level, and Connolly Early was absolutely lights out in his major league debut against the Athletics. Peyton Tolley has made 3 starts for the Red Sox, and he has struggled a little bit. He has a fastball that 100% plays at the major league level, but he hasn't exactly showcased a deep arsenal of pitches. So that's something that he 100% is going to need to focus on and work on moving forward, is that arsenal and expanding on that even more. So there are options that they have played around with. They also have Kyle Harrison, who got called up and pitched out of the bullpen in the Red Sox win on Wednesday and took care of business and pitched really well. And the Red Sox have said for right now the plan is for him to pitch in the pen, but he was a starting pitcher in Worcester. So it's certainly in the cards for him to take over one of those rotation spots. There's a lot of different options the Red Sox could use. Kyle Harrison should 100% be in the Red Sox starting rotation. No matter how you dice it up and how you build out the rotation moving forward, Kyle Harrison should be the number 4 or number 5 starter. He has shown a strong ability to be able to perform well. His off-speed pitches and secondary stuff outside of his fastball have really grown a lot since him coming to the Boston Red Sox organization and pitching for the Woo Sox, because when he first came to the Woo Sox, he knew he kind of had to expand on some pitches a little bit, but since throwing in Worcester, he has grown a ton, and he showed a lot of that growth in his outing on Wednesday. So he 100% should be in the Red Sox starting rotation moving forward for the rest of the season, and if he continues to pitch well, then he could be a guy that they turn to next year in the rotation too. Even in a brand new uniform, he was on familiar ground on Wednesday. There could hardly be a more apt ballpark for the former Giants left-hander to make his Red Sox debut than the home of San Francisco's AAA affiliate. With 26 career starts for the River Cats, he definitely feels comfortable at Sutter Health Park. He said, it's kind of a full circle moment. I started the year here, so why not make the debut here with the Red Sox? That connection definitely didn't hurt in his solid performance that he had on Wednesday, pitching 3 scoreless relief innings in the Red Sox walk-off 5-4 loss to the Athletics. The left-hander entered in the 6th inning and kept the Red Sox deficit to a single run, setting the stage for Rob Refsnyder's game-tying pinch hit double in the 9th. He struck out 2 batters, hit 1 with a pitch, and worked around 3 hits, including a Brent Rooker double in the 7th inning to keep the A's off the scoreboard. He ended up filling up the strike zone, throwing 35 of his 49 pitches for strikes. So he definitely showed that he had good command, which was something I was a little bit concerned about with him, because in Worcester, he did run into some problems with walks. So that was something I was keeping an eye on, but his command was definitely there in this outing. He said just went out there and tried to attack and get the boys in the dugout as quick as possible. The Red Sox would definitely welcome more outings like that from Harrison because of the fact that he was the primary piece in that blockbuster trade that sent Rafael Devers to San Francisco in June. So the Red Sox are basically praying that he pans out because Jordan Hicks is on the injured list right now with a shoulder issue, and prospect James Tibbs III, who they also got in that trade, ended up being shipped to the Dodgers for Dustin May, who of course is obviously also now on the IL. So truly, he's the biggest piece currently. So the Red Sox kind of need him to pan out. Simply put, the Red Sox need something from him, especially with this constant turnover in the back end of the rotation and inconsistencies from the bullpen. So he kind of has yet to learn his role still with this team, but he's willing to be flexible. He said, I just think I'm going to be available and ready for whatever they need. So the fact that his arsenal has expanded allows him to be able to pitch in the rotation. With the Giants this season, he threw his four-seam fastball 65.2% of the time, complementing the pitch with a slurve and a changeup. And in the visitors' clubhouse pregame on Wednesday, he rattled off a 5-pitch repertoire: the four-seamer, sinker, cutter, slider, and changeup. So he has a lot of options that he can choose from moving forward, which is going to help him find a lot of success. And not even to mention his slurve, which he threw 19 times on Wednesday, just as much as he threw his four-seamer. And he used the pitch to Lawrence Butler in the 7th inning for his first strikeout. Then he proceeded to punch out Brett Harris on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball down and in for his other strikeout. So he looked good, definitely good fastball and good command with great tempo, which was really good to see. He was really patient throughout the whole process of waiting to be called up. And for him to go out there and give the Red Sox a chance to win was awesome. So he definitely has a good chance of being in line to be in the rotation moving forward. He no doubt deserves it. He is a guy the Red Sox can rely on. He's a hard worker, and he has continued to show growth. So if the Red Sox made Connolly early and Kyle Harrison the number 4 and 5 starters, I would be happy with that, and have Peyton Tolley pitch in the bullpen. So therefore, then they can help work with him on his arsenal, and there isn't as much pressure for him to have to go out there and be a starter and showcase the fact that he doesn't have many pitches that he can go to outside of his fastball. So it would allow the Red Sox to work with him more without completely dropping the ball on that and kind of ruining his confidence. So it would take some of that pressure away from him. And with how much Connolly early impressed with his arsenal and his Red Sox debut, as well as Kyle Harrison and his Red Sox debut being as impressive as he was, those seem like the obvious choices for the number 4 and 5 starters. And it's actually interesting because people do wonder why it took the Red Sox so long to call up Kyle Harrison, because of the fact that he was so impressive in Worcester. At 24 years old, he had already pitched in parts of 2 seasons with the Giants before 2025, making 7 starts in 2023 and 24 the following year. By the end of the 2023 season, he was a top 20 prospect in baseball, the number 1 left-handed pitching prospect in baseball, and the number 1 prospect in San Francisco's farm system. Since being acquired in the Devers trade, he made 12 starts in Worcester, and fans had absolutely been clamoring for him to be called up to help a Red Sox rotation that was truly ailing because of all the injuries. So finally, they decided to give him a shot, but that wasn't until after they gave Peyton Tolley and Connolly early both a shot. But he went out there and he competed, which is exactly what he was trying to do. Just went out there, tried to attack and get the boys in the dugout as quickly as possible, as he had mentioned. But he felt really good about it, and he definitely showed what all the hype was about surrounding him. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Red Sox decide they have enough faith in him right now to let him pitch in the rotation, or if they are going to have him pitch as a reliever moving forward. That is all up for determination here for the Boston Red Sox. But based on what Kyle Harrison has shown both in Worcester and in his Red Sox debut on Wednesday, I truly believe that he has enough to where he can help carry this rotation through the rest of September. And again, in a playoff series, especially earlier on in playoff series, Your 4 and 5 starters aren't as important. It's really your 1, 2, 3, which the Red Sox already have locked in solidly with Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito. It's just a matter of who they use in the rotation to finish off these last few weeks and try to clinch that top wild card spot, which is exciting. So give Kyle Harrison a shot. He 100% should be in the rotation. And now coming up, big series coming up starting tonight against the Yankees. That's being discussed next. Do you like sports betting or are you trying to get into it? Whatever end of the spectrum you fall on there, FanDuel absolutely is the place for you. And with the NFL season being right here, FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel is great because it makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. You can win lots of money on FanDuel, I promise. So make sure you take advantage of it and download the app today and start placing some bets. As the Boston Red Sox look to clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2021 and look to clinch their first winning season since 2021, they have a big series against the Yankees at a crucial time in the season. When's the last time that you can remember the Red Sox playing a series of this much importance against the Yankees in September? It definitely has been a while, but it's great for baseball and great for the rivalry. I expect Fenway to be loud this weekend and packed. You should definitely be part of that action if you live in the Boston area and you're able to go to one of those games. You will not want to miss this environment because the Red Sox and Yankees are neck and neck in the wild card standings right now. This is a massive series for both teams, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to see how it pans out. Obviously, hoping the Red Sox sweep them and continue to dominate the Yankees like they have all season long, but there are definitely some concerns that come with that. With the Red Sox lineup being a little bit banged up right now because of all the injuries, the Yankees are going to be seeing a different lineup from the Boston Red Sox than they're used to from what they saw earlier on in the season. The absence of Roman Anthony is significant, so that's something that I'm keeping an eye on in this series here is can the Red Sox capitalize on the lineup they have right now? And Alex Cora has been doing a good job of moving guys around and kind of trying to piece things together to play around with what makes the most sense for a lineup based on the guys they have out there right now. And you do have a guy in Nate Eaton who has been on the major league roster, got sent back down to AAA and has kind of platooned between the two teams this year. He's a guy who is maybe starting to heat up at the plate. He went 2 for 3 on Wednesday with a run scored in the Red Sox loss against the A's. He's up to a 268 batting average, 323 on base percentage, and 339 slugging. He's a guy who's going to be key to this Red Sox lineup because unfortunately you look at a guy like that or a guy like Nick Sogard and say those guys are automatic outs. They're not going to be able to contribute. David Hamilton falls into this category too of guys who haven't really been around the major league team as consistently. Obviously, David Hamilton has been around the major league team a little bit more so, but isn't really a good hitter. So you look at guys like that as wild cards and say, wow, if they can start hitting, then this Red Sox lineup automatically looks more dangerous like it was earlier on in the season. So Nate Eaton is a factor. He definitely has speed that he can utilize to his advantage. So if he is in the lineup, look to him to be putting pressure on opposing pitchers by stealing bases a lot. Nick Sogard is somebody that we need to get going. He's had a couple big hits since being called back up to the team. David Hamilton, while he doesn't always contribute at the plate, he has definitely had his moments, and he obviously has the athleticism that he can also showcase. So when it comes to the Red Sox lineup going into this weekend series, the focus needs to be on playing small ball, hitting for contact instead of hitting for power, and trying to find ways to generate base runners. Because if the Red Sox have base runners, they will score or at least put themselves in a great position to score because of the fact that they have some runners on the team. Because you add Jarren Duran and Cedar Rafaela, who both have speed too, then you're looking at a good handful of players who have speed that they can showcase on the base paths. So if you just get those guys on base, that's a way that they can beat the Yankees this weekend without focusing on trying to hit a home run every at bat. And you have your hitters like Trevor Story and Alex Bregman, the veterans on the team, who are going to have to continue to step up and continue to hit the way that they hit. Trevor Story's been having an unbelievable year now that he's finally healthy with the Red Sox. Alex Bregman has been in a bit of a skid. Hopefully he can turn that around, but guys are going to have to step into roles. And if they can generate contact, good things will happen if they can get themselves on base, because they can utilize the fact that they have speed as one of their strengths. And that's going to be a huge thing that's going to be so important for this Red Sox team moving forward. And that's a way that they can win. They also have their three best pitchers starting in these 3 games. The Yankees haven't announced their starters for the series yet, but Lucas Giolito takes the mound tonight, and then Brian Bayo tomorrow, and then Garrett Crochet in the series finale on Sunday Night Baseball. So when you think about the Red Sox rotation and where it's at right now, those are the 3 starting pitchers that you trust the most to go out there and be able to get the job done. Brian Bayo, historically in his career, has always pitched really well against the Yankees, so hopefully that continues. He dominated them his last time out against them. Garrett Crochet has had a struggle against the Yankees this year, but he also has pitched really well against them too, so hopefully we get the really dominant version of Crochet. Lucas Giolito obviously has had his share of tough starts, but hopefully we get the really good version of Giolito in this outing. And then the Red Sox will be a tough team to beat. But obviously this is all a lot easier said than done. This is just kind of going to be the biggest keys of what the Red Sox do need to do if they want to get it done and win that series. Huge, crucial series here when it comes to the standings, but it should be a lot of fun. Big atmosphere at Fenway. Hopefully you're able to make it to one of those games, because it's going to be loud and it's going to be so worth it, and it's going to be exciting, and I cannot wait to see how this series unfolds. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Red Sox and making it your first listen of every day. I truly always appreciate the support. Next, be sure to check out Locked On MLB Game Night, which is our local Locked On experts giving you analysis on a national scale about every game, every single night, up until a World Series champion is crowned. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's a great show, so make sure you make it your second listen of every day and tune into it after you finish checking out Locked On Red Sox. Keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I'll catch you on the flip side.